The Common Sense Media Census reports on children's media use for kids between the ages of 0 or birth and up to age 8. For these reports, they've been collecting data over a 6-year time period, so starting in 2011 and again in 2013, and now they're reporting in 2017. So for this lecture, we'll take a look at some of the trends across time, but then also some of the more contemporary uses of children's media. Okay, so between 2011 and 2017, we see some pretty dramatic changes in the evolution of media use for kids ages 8 and under. So first of all, if we look at the amount and the number of households that report having a mobile device in them, that's increased quite dramatically from 52% in 2011 to almost 100% in 2017. We've also seen some differences here in the digital divide, so the differences between the haves and the have-nots. So we're seeing a closing of the gap, although there's still about 22% difference in the gap, but that's quite a big change from almost a 50% gap in 2011. The third thing we're seeing too is and the last two are related, the third and fourth one there, about children's screen time and the types of devices that they're using. So for mobile devices, it increased from 4% up to 35% in 2017, which subsequently then relates to the amount of time that they're actually spending on these devices, from 5 minutes all the way up to 48 minutes. As we've been talking about, the amount and number of children that have access to mobile devices has increased quite a bit between 2011 and 2017. Interestingly, as we see here, 95% of families with young children indicate they have a smartphone in the home, and 78% indicate that they have some kind of tablet. What we see with these kinds of practices in particular is what we call the pass-back effect, so that parents or an older sibling are sharing a device, they're passing that device back and forth between the two of them. What was really striking to me, and it should be to you as well, is that individual ownership of tablets has increased quite a bit over the past 6 years. So in 2011, less than 1% of kids 8 and under had a tablet, but now it's almost 42%. Though the overall amount of media use is about the same as it has been in past years for young children, now their media use, the devices they're using, has changed considerably. As you can see on this chart, we see a dramatic change from 2011 to 2017 with their uses of devices. So television, just like that regular old television screen, has actually decreased from 51% to 42%. And it's the mobile device that in 2011 was at only 4%, is now up to 35%, and the video game player is back down to 4%. There are large differences in screen time use in households by income and by parent education. So children from lower income households spend more time using screens than parents of higher income households, and children from homes with a lower parental education also consume more screen time than parents from children in homes with a higher education. Interestingly, Hispanic or Latino parents seem to be the most concerned about their children's media use. In this case, 43% of Hispanic and Latino parents say that they strongly agree that the less time kids spend with screen media, the better off they are. On the other hand, African American parents are more likely than white parents to say that their child benefits from media use. In fact, 83% of African American parents say that their child benefits from media use, whereas only 72% of white parents would say the same thing. Parents are concerned about the amount of violence, sexual content, and advertising in media, but ironically, they seem optimistic about the use of media for learning and supporting creativity. Through these surveys, we're able to see what changes and what stays the same in terms of children's media use. Clearly, what has changed perhaps the most is how young people access and view television shows, video games, and different types of videos. What has not changed is the fact that children engage in these activities starting at a very young age and devote hours a day to their media use. And the mobility of the devices, the connectedness, the interactivity, these are all things that have changed as well. But what hasn't changed is that the primary activities conducted on these devices are the same as they were 6 years ago, watching TVs or videos and playing games. So these are some things to keep in mind as we think about children's media use throughout the semester.